Hello everybody, Iain Robson here. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. Today, we're taking a road roller from Tucson, Arizona to Grand Canyon Village. I thought it was just Grand Canyon, but apparently it's Grand Canyon Village. It's about a 500-kilometer trek, if memory serves, something like that. I'll have to double check that. I think it's about that. Anyways, so here we are. I guess I can show you on the map where we're going. So there we go, going from Tucson through Phoenix, through Camp Verde, Flagstaff, up to Grand Canyon Village. I hope you get to see the Grand Canyon. That would be pretty sweet. I'm assuming you do, but I have no idea. Sometimes things are misleading. Alright, let's go ahead and get rolling. It's a terrible pun. We're pulling a road roller and I say let's get rolling. I don't know. No one ever said I was good at comedy, that's for sure. Actually, most people say I'm not good at comedy. If I really had to say anything about comedy. There we go. So this again is the public beta. So I'm doing my part in testing out Arizona. So far it looks pretty solid. I thought I found one little weird little bug where when you went to a pickup location it wouldn't switch to the appropriate screen, but this was my imagination, I think. There we go. Alright, we'll stop. Again, I'm kind of surprised that the mods actually work, to be honest with you, because I was expecting, you know, some problems with the mods not working, the mods working with the public beta, but I guess it's because they're on Steam, and I guess Steam has automatically updated them for the public beta. That's all I can assume. There may be other reasons why, but that's what it seems like is the case. I think I only had one mod in my mods folder that wasn't from Steam, and that was the one that didn't seem to work. Go figure. Alright, so this again is Tucson, and if you know anything about Arizona, specifically Tucson, does this look like Tucson at all? I have no idea. I've never been to Tucson, never been to Arizona. Like I've said many times before, at least maybe not to you guys, but to other people, I want to try and see all of Canada first before I try and trek outside of Canada a lot. So far I only have a couple other provinces left. I guess there's a couple provinces I still haven't visited yet. I haven't been to Saskatchewan or Manitoba yet. I flew over them, but I haven't been in them, but apparently they're not very exciting from what people tell me, but I still want to do it. And Newfoundland, haven't been there yet, which is supposed to be pretty picturesque. And I haven't been to Northwest Territories or Iqaluit yet. Get in there. Which hopefully will happen at some point in the future. But we'll see about that. Those are two places where you really have to, there's really not necessarily a good reason to go. Well, I guess not, there is a good reason. I want to see the landscape more than anything else, because it's curious to see how the landscape does change throughout Canada. Like, if you've ever seen the Rockies, like if you've been to Colorado, I guess, is where you would see them in the United States. And it's pretty amazing if you've never seen it before. One thing I noticed that it seemed like they did a lot of this in this particular in this new update is they actually added, I think it's what they call camber. I think it's what they call it. Basically what I'm talking about is when you're going around turns, a lot of the turns... Oh shoot, did I do this? Yeah, I actually did do this. Totally did this the wrong way. They added camber. Basically what we're talking about is that the road actually is tipped to the left or to the right, so that when you're driving around you actually have it's easy to get around the turn basically. I'm basically going to go through a whole little trek now around the city to get out of the city again. Isn't that always the case? Well, at least with me. Well, it's a good way to experience the city and check it out, I guess. Wasn't my original intention, but that's fine. Do a little trek around the city, I guess. I'm sure we can get up here and turn right. Maybe there'll be some fuel up here we can actually fuel up as well, which would be good. But maybe not. Who knows? So yeah, that was one of the things I kind of noticed so far in the map, is I've seen a lot of, like, I think it's called camber. Cambered roads, which has been kind of interesting, because I don't think I've... Oh, there's fuel. Perfect. We'll call this a fuel stop then. There we go. Just up a little bit further. There we go. Parking brake. Turn it off. Fill it up. Yeah, so I don't know. It just kind of, it seems like that's what they've added a little bit. I've noticed a lot of it lately. It seems to be in like Arizona. Well, maybe it's only in Arizona so far that I've noticed it, but it may be in other places too. But it's just kind of, well, it's one of the things that kind of just really really jumped out at me, was the camber. I think that's what they call it, at least. I know it's what, I'm pretty sure it's what they call it for how the tires. Actually, you know, let's do this real quick. How the tires are rotated a little bit. Let's go here, and then we'll do it that way. There we go. In like racing, that's what they do a lot in racing. Is they'll kind of have the tires rotate. I'm thinking primarily it's in stock car racing, where I tend to think about it the most. I know it's in other types of racing as well, but that's where I think about it the most. Mainly because in a lot of stock car racing you're going around in a circle. I've never been to a stock car race. Apparently they're exciting. Have you ever been to a stock car race? NASCAR, I guess it would be. I don't know. On television, NASCAR doesn't seem very exciting. One of my uncle-in-law has been to a few NASCAR races, and he says they're fantastic, and the people are super awesome. Like I said, never been. Whoa, buddy, give me some space here. Jeez. I've never been to stock car. I've been to some kart racing before, here around town, but never stock car racing. Although apparently it's a spectator sport is what they describe it as, because you can sit in one location and see like the whole race basically, which is one thing you can't do for, like, you know, F1 for example. F1's fun to watch on TV because you can see the whole race, but when you're there in stock car racing you get to see everything, but when you're there in F1 you can only see, like, you know, the one blip of a second when they drive past you, and that's it. But I guess it's not just, you know, what you can see, it's the whole experience behind it, right? You know, there's, like, you know, the car sounds, which is really interesting. I guess in NASCAR you have a lot of good, you know, car sounds, I'll call it, but in F1 you all hear is like the high-pitched scream as they go by, and that's all you kind of hear. But hey, it's the way it goes, I guess. I don't know. I used to watch a lot of drag racing when I was younger, for whatever reason. I still think drag racing is pretty nifty, but I don't catch it I don't go to my way to watch it very often, though, that's for sure. I'm sure I can get all the highlights on online these days, but never really got into it for whatever reason. So here's what I'm talking about. See how the road kind of is like tilted a little bit, and that's why I've noticed a lot more in this area, in the Arizona area. And that might be due to the fact that they created this whole, like, highway system, this modular highway system where you can put parts together, and so all the highways in Arizona will have that, I guess, but I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just the way it seems, at least. So, and we're going straight through here, yes. Maybe the speed will change. Let's get into the left lane here. Let that truck get on the on-ramp, or off-ramp I should say. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know, it seems pretty neat though. It seems neat that they've included that kind of feature, and a couple other smaller features so far, so I don't know, I'm very pleased with it. I don't know how much it's going to cost. The game itself wasn't super expensive, so I don't expect the DLC to be crazy expensive either, but I'll happily purchase it, because SCS does a fantastic job with their stuff, and I really enjoy ATS. There's lots of people out there who aren't super into ATS, which is fine. I think one of the reasons why a lot of people feel that way, I think, is because ATS is only like 2 states, so you're kind of like limited. Although with mods, of course, you opened up other areas. You know, it's the same thing with ETS. I'm sure when ETS first came out, it wasn't, you know, what it is now, right? So, but because we've gotten used to what ETS is like, that's what we expect from ATS as well. So, I don't know. So what are your impressions of Arizona so far? I'm sure you've watched some other videos as well. Maybe you've even played the public beta. But what is your opinion of Arizona so far? Are you happy? Are you sad? Would you like to see some other stuff included? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be very curious to find out. Alright, so I do like the highway system, actually. That's the one thing that it seems like a big improvement, is the highway system seems to be a lot more, and not intuitive is the wrong word. Oh, I wanted to go there. A lot more intuitive, as I almost crashed. It seems to be a lot better than it was before, because before it seemed like off-ramps, on-ramps were really slow. Not slow, but not a lot of space to them, but this seems a lot more expansive, which is good, because it makes, you know, getting on and off the highway, you know, driving on the highway a lot more of a pleasant experience, at least for me. At least for me it does. So it's funny, back there I was paying attention to the road, but I was looking at the way it goes is like, if I had stayed on that road I was on, I would have gone off to the left. That curves off to the left, and this is the one that goes straight through. Interestingly enough, in City Skylines you can actually have whole, like, one of the big things, one of the big mods you can see, or you can get at least in that game, is like the intersections. So like the T intersections, sort of, not the T ones, like it's like a cross essentially, but the way they go from, like, you know, one highway to the other highway is often like the biggest annoying part of that game, because traffic is silly for whatever reason, and they do some really odd things that doesn't make any sense at all. But it's one of those stranger things I've seen, at least. Alright, bus. Office and warehouse space here. It's funny, one of the things I noticed in BC as well, while driving around, is they have a sign that says merge. I don't know why that jumped out at me, but like I saw like that all the time. It was like, it was basically like a way of like reminding people, hey, you have to merge into this lane here, as opposed to, you know, just staying in the lane you're in. I thought it was kind of funny. So like when you had the, like, what your kind of your lane that you were in, and then when you had to go merge, it would say merge, and I always yell, not yell it out loud, but I would always say it out loud, as if I'm like, oh, I've forgotten to merge, but you never do. So like right here, for example, on the left, you would see a sign that says merge. So like you would have that sign that says, hey, there's a merging lane, but you'd also have a sign that just says, like, it's a caution sign sort of idea, that just says merge as well. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they do it in other places as well. Maybe they do it in Ontario, just never picked up on it, because it's just normal, but it always seems that way. Like, because I should have dropped down gear a long time ago. Because I've been driving in Ontario for years now, some of those things just don't stand out, but when you go to like a new province, like everything seems really new. Like, for example, get another lane here. For example, we don't have, as far as I know, we don't have lanes that, or not lights that flash green. So, well, we do, but it's like an advanced green. So basically what that would mean is if you have an advanced green, it means you go first, essentially. But in BC, I think it was BC and Alberta had it, where if you had a flashing, I think it was BC specifically had it, where if you had a flashing green, it was like pedestrian controlled intersection, which was kind of strange actually. So you'd have like various areas, so like you could just drive through it, but like a pedestrian would control it and they'd press a button, I guess, and it would change it to yellow or red. Otherwise you just drive through. It was really like some like odd, like little things like that you don't realize if you're from the province, but when you're not from the province, you're like, what's going on here? Like, how odd is that? So that was one of the things that kind of threw me off. And like in some provinces, in some areas, you're not allowed to turn right on a red light. And I wasn't sure about that in BC. It is legal apparently, but it was one of those things. Well, it's a different type of cop car. That's a fancy cop car. Jeez. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of strange. So little things like that, you don't think about them, but when you're faced with driving in a different province, you're like, okay, how, like, what should I be aware of? In Alberta and BC, I think more BC had it, but they had like lights. I think it was Alberta had it too. It was like lights that would say, "Hey, prepare to stop," and if it would like flash yellow, and basically you just start putting the brakes on right away because by the time you get to the light, it'll be red, like guaranteed almost. That was kind of nice actually, because you're usually cruising on a highway at 80, 90 kilometers an hour, and then you see these little lights that flash, say, "Hey, prepare to stop," so you just prepare to stop basically. We don't have that in Ontario. I think we just have these longer yellow lights is what we have here. So it's like, oh, by the way, you should have stopped there. Alright. No, I don't. Lights that say you should have stopped there. I'm not sure if that's. Whoa! What happened there? Jeez. That wasn't a. I felt like a sudden speed change. Holy smokes. That's one. I still haven't fixed all those little things. I guess I get caught up in the moment and just driving. All right, turn left here. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to make that without downgrading or downshifting. Oh, okay, you're gonna let me go, buddy? Sure, thanks. We'll just go with that. All right, that's a hospital with an LED light. I guess it's supposed to be a hospital or a drugstore or something. Alright. Oh, you were in the right high-low gear. Alright. Looks pretty good. Saberware. Okay. Bar. Alright, looks pretty good so far. I don't know, every little town's a little bit different, and like I said, because I haven't been to these places, like, I'm not sure what is, like, what do you know these locations for? So far, like, I don't know anything. I know Tucson, Arizona, because it's in a Beatles song, and I think it's in an old movie. Some of you may or may not have seen it. It is called, oh, what's it called? Shoot. I can't remember the name of the movie now. I remember what happens. Oh, what is it called? I forget. Oops, apparently I'm speeding. No, that's right. Anyways, yeah, but I don't know much about Arizona specifically. There's so many. The problem is, like, there's so much out there. Like, whoa. I wasn't even speeding there or anything. He just came around the corner a little bit too fast, and bad time to come around the corner, basically. Because, I don't know, like, anyways. Yeah, there's just too much to know, basically. Like, you know, when it comes to, like, Ontario, it comes to Canada, like, there's, you know, for example, we have, like, 13 provinces and territories here in Canada. United States, I believe they have 52 states, I think it is, if memory serves. I'm not an expert in geography. I'm sure people will know that by now. But it was a nice little section of road, actually. Fun to drive. Actually, in BC, we had a lot of, like, winding roads. A lot of fun to drive. Super, super fun. We had, like, a little sport, in quotation marks, type of car. So it was fun to drive some of these types of areas, but often the types of areas that were like this were, like, you know, backcountry type roads. So if you made a mistake, you're going to go off the cliff, basically, in a lot of cases. Alright, so we're taking a right up here. Wherever the right is. Oh, there it is. That seems like a little pointless section of road to take. Okay. Yeah, that was really strange. I don't know why it suggested us taking that little section. There's a hotel there, apparently. Alright. It's a motel. Interesting. Lots of little weird sections of the road in this area. Like, it's just strange that they're like suggesting to take these little tiny areas. It's like, okay, you know what, take a right turn here, take a left turn here, and it's like, well, why are we doing this? Like, it seems pointless. GPS will do that to you in real life all the time. It's like, there's been times where it's like, do a UE. I'm like, why would I do a UE? It makes no sense. Sometimes GPS needs a little helping hand from updated technology. So often, I always find, well, this is my experience at least, but I find that smartphone GPS is pretty good, mainly because it stays updated. Your GPS, like it's like a separate device. Often you have to, there's a speed limit change, I'm paying attention that time. This is our turn here, there we go. Oftentimes, you don't update your GPS as often as you should. And surprisingly, we didn't really get lost. I made some turns probably that were a little early, but you don't freak out. That's the main thing. A lot of people get really like scared and start freaking out. Oh, that was the turn we were supposed to make back there. Whoops. Let's do this. Oops. The big thing, yeah, is that you just don't freak out, because what happens a lot of times is people like, oh, that was the turn I was supposed to take, and like they get all freaked out, and then they make like a sudden change, and often that's when accidents happen, is when people are trying to merge into a lane really quickly. So they're like, oh, that's where I'm supposed to be right there. But actually, usually the worst are like backseat drivers, people who are telling you what to do, and they don't tell you well enough in advance. And that's happened to me once or twice, where it's like someone's like, you need to turn here. I was like, whoa, right here? And then you make a sudden turn, and then, you know, it can head south pretty quickly. No, it's not close enough, apparently. Alright. Let's back this guy up a little bit. Apparently not too much. The hard part's going to be making sure that you stay in the lines. Alright, let's see if we can get this now. Okie doke. Alright, so is that going to be good? Yes, perfect. There you go, decoupling. Huh. That's something you would see in like Train Simulator or something like that. Alright, looks good. High value cargo bonus, sweet. Alright folks, so that'll be it for me for today. Another episode of American Truck Simulator, checking out the Arizona public beta, essentially. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for some more American Truck Simulator. My name's Iain Robson again. Catch you guys later.